So good evening, students, and we are going to do 3 different exercises this evening. We will start with a close passage, then we will progress to the RC reading comprehension, and finally we will go to the paragraph completion. Now, in these 3 exercises today, the common link or the common trend will be reasoning, verbal reasoning with vocabulary. So, kindly take close passage directions for questions 1 to 5. I'll give you 30 seconds to locate your material and we will start from there. The minute somebody has located, kindly give me a thumbs up and then I will continue. So I'm waiting for one candidate to give me a thumbs up. Can somebody indicate that you have the material? Okay, 2 people have indicated and I take that to be the start of the class. People are still joining in. Okay. Now, when you take the closed test from the angle of the examination, it does appear in the bank tests, in your competitive examinations. Remember 2 things. Go through the whole passage. Don't just read one line. When you read the entire passage, you get an idea. You can understand what is being spoken about in the passage. Next, you will have multiple words for each blank. You can also try to think of whether you need a positive word, whether you need a negative word, and look at the choices provided. Eliminate what is not feasible. This will bring down the options and you will be able to choose the correct answer. If you're very strong on your vocabs, you can go directly and select an answer. But remember that there is always something that is doable. There is always something that is doable in any test. So, directions for questions 1 to 5. Read the passage, fill the blanks with the appropriate options. The Egyptian government is adopting policies to diversify the economy and achieve dash development on the long term. On the long term means in the long run. New laws and regulations have been introduced to create an environment. So here the word environment does not refer to the ecosystem, but it refers to the area that you are dealing with economically or financially between countries, between parties. So you need to have a very suitable environment to work further. New laws and regulations have been introduced to create an environment dash to foreign investment and small and medium enterprises, while new mega as in large, huge mega projects such as the Suez Canal Area Development Project are potential areas for further cooperation with India. Meanwhile, Egyptian investors are dashed to benefit from the opportunities offered by important initiatives. So an initiative is either money or a program to give you that incentive to do more by important initiatives such as Make in India and Invest India. And some have already started to inject. Here, inject means put in inject investments in the Indian market. Cultural exchange and people-to-people relations represent another aspect of engagement essential to dash a long-lasting friendship. So essential to means it's very important. Egyptians enjoy various activities brought by the annual festival of, within quotes, India by the Nile. So the Nile refers to Egypt. It's the life-breathing river. And soon Indians will get a dash of Egyptian culture during the first festival of Egypt by the Ganga. So to come to the crux of the matter, it is India and Egypt want to get into a business conclave. They want to interlink with each other. And at the same time, they are using the cultural and the communal to achieve it. Now, for option A, you have 5 words. Some of the words are very, very easy. Unreal, the opposite of real. Concrete, very definite. Tangible, something that can be touched, seen, feasible. It can be proved. Incorporeal, which means that it is corporeal refers to the body, incorporeal, which here now has a different meaning. That is, it says, 1 minute. You want the exact meaning and I'll give it to you. So incorporeal, corporeal refers to body. In will be the opposite. So what's the opposite of a physical body? Maybe a ghost, maybe a spirit, something that is not related to this context. And then you have palpably, which is readily available. Now, you got to take one word. So the best option will be to achieve tangible. So just underline tangible in your book or use a highlight now. Now, B option. New laws and regulations have been introduced to create an environment. So the environment has to be helpful to whatever is the project. We have got help, which is past tense and will not suit the gap. Then we have got adverse, which means bad. Instrumental, it is useful, but there are different meanings for instrumental. So he was instrumental in creating the new plan. He was useful or he created it. And at the same time, you can say, I enjoy instrumental music. That is music without any singing or any words. And coming to conducive, conducive just means helpful, beneficial to make the situation much better. Deleterious is once again a negative word, and we want something that is going to be positive. So the only option that we can take is conducive. We move on to find the blank for C. Meanwhile, Egyptian investors are dash. So what are they? Are they ready? Are they willing? Do they want? They are definitely not aggressive, which means to fight. And incisively here means sharp. But this does not suit the context. Cognitive, perspective, understanding, it will not suit the context. Keen is the best word because it means very interested, very eager. And appease means to satisfy, to calm down. Select keen for your answer. We move to D. Cultural exchange and people-to-people relations represent another aspect of engagement essential to dash a long-lasting friendship. So what is it essential? It is essential to make, to join, to link. And the word forging is a technical term wherein you create something strong. Now, if you consider in the point of view of metal, when you want to make any metallic object, you can heat the metal, you can cool it, you can reheat it, you can hammer it together, and that strengthens the quality of the material. So therefore, in the same way, forging will be the correct word. All the other words are not applicable. Look at 5. Soon Indians will get a dash of Egyptian culture during the first festival of Egypt by the Ganga. Now, what does the word quiver mean? Quiver means to shake, to tremble, to get afraid. And as a collective noun, a quiver of arrows refers to the bunch of arrows that you have to use with your bow. So that's the meaning of the word quiver. All the other words you know, and contextually, only flavor will be the right option. I hope you have got it correct. I give you 30 seconds to move on. And the next exercise that we are going to take will be from the reading comprehension, because reading comprehension is the mother of all questions for any competitive examination. If we look at the level of difficulty, I repeat, if we look at the level of difficulty, I would rate this article as easy. It's not medium and it is not difficult. It is very doable or easy. Please go to practice test 3, directions for questions 101 to 110. I give you a little bit of time and then I will start reading. Always remember, when it comes to a reading comprehension, it does not mean that you have to get all the answers correct. Whichever answer you decide to take up, whichever question you want to answer, ensure that that particular question is correct so that you do not get any negative mark. There are 2 ways in which you can use to answer. Skim through the passage, read the question, hold the question in your mind, and then scan the passage, the particular area, to get your answer. So skimming and scanning are 2 techniques. Okay, now I'm going to have a look at the questions first. So I'm skimming through the question. What does CSR policy ensure? CSR is explained in the opening line of the passage to indicate corporate social responsibility. So question number 101 is only asking you, what does the policy ensure? 102, what is the aim? Anything will have an aim. So what is the aim of CSR? 103 is a very specific question. What did the 2000 study? So in the year 2000, they made a study, and what did that conclude? 104. What particular aspect of CSR captured the interest of political sociologists? So when you read, underline the word sociologist, and surrounding that word, you will have your answer. Which of the following is the recognized international standard, ISO? I'm sure you've come across this in your college academic lessons. International standard for CSR. And you have the ISO numbers. 106. What does the triple bottom line comprise? So triple means 3. And in the paragraph, definitely you will have a line about this triple bottom line. 107. Which of the following is synonymous to the word ensure? So what is the nearest meaning to ensure? 108. What is closest to the word compliance? 109. What is the antonym? Now be careful, there is a change in the pattern. They're asking for the opposite. 110. Which of the following is antonymous? So it's the opposite to the word deduct. Now, someone may be very strong with the vocabs, so they might want to attempt the vocabulary question and get everything correct. If another person is not comfortable with the vocabulary question, well, you've got contextual questions. Either way, take whatever is going to give you your marks. Now, we have seen the questions. Allow the question to be in your memory, and we will read. At the end of each paragraph, I will sort of summarize the main points of the paragraph. Corporate social responsibility, CSR, is a form of corporate self-regulation. Now, why do we say self-regulation, self-rule? No company will get a CSR assigned to the company. The board of directors or the HR people, whoever is the line manager, they will collect ideas from the employees and have a special meeting to decide what is going to be our CSR policy and our CSR project. So corporate social responsibility is a form of corporate self-regulation, integrated, joined together, blended, linked, connected into a business model. So corporates is all about business, and you bring this social responsibility for the community into your business. CSR policy functions as a self-regulatory mechanism. You make your own rules and you follow your rules and ensure that you go along and have progress. It's a self-regulatory mechanism whereby a business monitors and ensures its active compliance with the spirit of the law, ethical standards, and national or international norms. With some models, a firm's implementation of CSR goes beyond. To go beyond means they do more than what they said they will do. Goes beyond compliance. Now, compliance just means you ask me to do something and I say yes because I have to follow whatever the company says. But the CSR policy, it goes beyond that. So they do much more than that and engages in actions that appear to further some social good beyond the interest of the firm and that which is required by law. So there are different CSR projects. The company doesn't really need that project for the growth of the company, but they do it for the community's sake. The aim is to increase long-term profits and shareholder trust through positive public relations and high ethical standards to reduce business and legal risk by taking responsibility for corporate actions. CSR strategies encourage consumers, employees, investors, those who are investing money into the company, investors, communities, and others. So here they give you the definition of CSR. They tell you that the CSR rules are made by the company itself. Further, The CSR is there to go for a longer period, and the only outcome is to have a better relationship with the community, the investors, the customers, etc. Now we move on to the second paragraph. Proponents. The word proponent means in favor of somebody. Proponents argue that corporations increase long-term long-term profits by operating with a CSR perspective. So from a CSR point of view, a CSR perspective, while critics argue that CSR distracts from businesses' economic role. A 2000 study compared existing econometric studies of the relationship between social and financial performance, concluding that the contradictory results of previous studies reporting positive, negative, and neutral financial impact were due to flawed means having an error, flawed empirical analysis, and claimed when the study is properly specified. CSR has a neutral impact on financial outcomes. Now, what does the second paragraph talk about? It talks about, yes, those who are in favor of this, they say, yeah, definitely the company will get more profits in the long term. The critic is the opposite of the proponent. He becomes the opponent. The critic argues that the CSR will distract the company from its original plan. They will be spending time, perhaps money, perhaps focus on this project, and they will lose track about the business work. Then you come to a 2000 study, means a study done in the year 2000. Compared the studies of the relationship between social and financial performance. Now, as long as the financial performance is not affected, then you don't call it a distraction. So the econometric studies of the relationship between social and financial performance, concluding that the contradictory results of previous studies reporting positive, negative, and neutral financial impact were due to flawed errors. There were errors. Where were the errors? In the empirical analysis. So empirical is always about data, facts, figures. So there was an error in the empirical analysis, and claimed when the study is properly specified, CSR will have or has a neutral impact on financial outcomes. So they say it's neutral. It neither boosts nor does it reduce. So these are the ideas for the second paragraph. Now we will go to a short third paragraph. Political sociologists became interested in CSR in the context of theories of globalization, neoliberalism. Liberal means to have a very open mind, and liberalism is the doctrine of openness. Neoliberalism, so long we were not so liberal, now we have started being liberal. Neoliberalism and late capitalism. So capitalism was one ideology, and in the later part, the trend on capitalism was not so rigid. Some sociologists, the people who study sociology. Some sociologists viewed CSR as a form of capitalist legitimacy because, okay, it's corporate. So who has the money? The corporate has the money. So as a capitalist legitimacy, meaning it is legal. And in particular, point out that what began as a social movement against uninhibited corporate power, so there was no control over the corporate power at that time, was transformed, changed by corporations into a business model and a risk management device, often with questionable results. So now, whatever you do, the result has to be good. And sometimes you can question because the outcome is not as good as what you intended it to be. CSR is titled to aid, to help an organization's mission. For any project, you will always have a mission statement. Why do you believe that you want to do this? So, CSR is titled to aid, to help an organization's mission as well as serve as a guide to what the company represents for its consumers. So they've got to think, what exactly are we giving the consumers when they have given us so much of their faith? Okay, now we continue. Business ethics is part of the applied ethics that examines ethical principles and moral or ethical problems that can arise in every business situation. It's not smooth sailing. Something can come up, so can arise in a business environment. ISO 26000 is the recognized international standard for CSR, corporate social responsibility. Public sector organizations, within brackets, the United Nations, for example, adhere, stick to the triple 3 points bottom line. Now, bottom line does not literally mean the last line. In one context, yes, it is the last line. But bottom line could also be they've come to the end of their capacity to argue or to question, and now it is given as the bottom line. So, what is the triple bottom line? People, planet, and profit, also known as the triple bottom line, form one way to evaluate CSR. Okay, we're looking at these common trends. People, who does it refer to? Fair labor prices. So you hire them, you give them work, all on par, the salary, not salary. They get wages, it is equal. The community and the region where the business operates. So all that is the meaning for people. Next, planet refers to sustainable environmental practices. Now, what do we mean by the word sustainable? Sustainable means whatever I do, I can support myself with the outcome. Planet refers to sustainable environmental practices. Profit is the economic value created by the organization after deducting the cost of all inputs. Okay, profit. You spend so much, you got to take back that money. Only what is left over is your profit. So I repeat, profit is the economic value created by the organization after deducting the cost of all inputs, including the cost of the capital, unlike accounting definitions of profit. So this is the definition according to the economic point of view. It is widely accepted that CSR adheres, sticks to similar principles, but with no formal act of legislation. So they are not going to do anything. They want to continue being alert, but they are definitely not going to make any kind of law. Okay, don't worry about the vocabulary. I will do that. I'll give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll give you 5 minutes to finish 6 answers or at least 5 answers, and then we will discuss. Start working now. Start working now. Okay, I guess you have completed this. So now for 101, the correct answer is the third option. 102, the correct answer is the fourth option. What did the study conclude? The neutral impact, first option. What particular aspect of CSR captured? Here, captured means to attract and get hold of their interest. What particular aspect captured the interest of political sociologists? Option 3. Which is the recognized international standard for CSR? ISO 26000. What does the triple bottom line comprise of? Yeah, people is correct. We had planet, which refers to the environmental prospects. So planet is also correct. And profit, after you deduct all the money that you spent, the leftover money is the profit. So you take the fifth option. 107. Which of the following is the synonym of the word ensure? To ensure means to make certain, to make safe, and the correct word is secure, to keep it safe. 108, which is closest in meaning to the word compliance. To comply with something is to agree with something. So the only word is acceptance. The only word is acceptance. 109, which is the antonym of the word distract. Now, distract is a negative word. We do need to take a positive word. And in this particular line, we have divert, distract, which are negatives. We have attentive. We have admit, that's also positive. And you have adore, which is very positive. But the only one word that will match is the word attentive. 110. Which of the following is the opposite to the word deduct? Deduct is to remove, to lessen, and therefore the opposite will be to increase. Increase is not provided, and we go for the word adding. Option 2. Yes, Swati, very good. Now, we have completed a close. We have completed an RC. Let's go to a little higher level wherein it still involves reading comprehension and it involves verbal reasoning. So I am going to paragraph completion. if you have a look at your index, it is the last topic, paragraph completion. I'll give you 30 seconds to locate your page. Okay. I guess you must have identified the page by this time. And here you will note that the line or the blank that has to be filled must be taken from the options provided. You get either an opening line that is blank, or you can get a line somewhere in the middle, or you can get a concluding statement that is missing. So we'll try to see where we can do all these three patterns, and we will work at options that I call out and you can take it. I will begin with, yes, I will begin with the first option wherein the last line has been left blank. The following question has a paragraph from which the last sentence has been deleted. From the given options, choose the one that completes the paragraph in the most appropriate way. So I'm taking serial number 1. How do I do this? I rapidly go through the passage and I get the crux of the matter and I look for what could be a concluding sentence or a sentence to end the passage. What we have said is a brief presentation of the claims of the family in modern society to count not only as the primary, main, but also as the most important human institution. An institution is a group, a community, something set up for a particular reason. The family, it is evident, is charged by society with the most important task, not only of producing the new individuals in society, but of training each individual as he comes on the stage of life, adjusting him to society in all of its aspects, such as industry, government, and religion. If the family fails to perform these important functions, the chances are that dash. So there's just one main point. The purpose of the family in society is to take care of the younger offspring so that they become valuable members of society. And if that purpose is not achieved, you are going to look for some negative situation as a sequence. The first one says there will be no dearth. No dearth is scarcity. There will be no dearth of social individuals in society. Now, if they are social, they will not harm society. Then you will not say the family fails to perform. So eliminate one. Unsocial individuals will take up important places in society, leading to social chaos. So if the family doesn't look after the offspring, you are going to produce a whole group of unruly, wicked, uncontrollable citizens. So two can be considered. There will be no control over the spread of religious fundamentalism. You're only marking one sub point. It becomes a very narrow answer. The rate of crime and social deviancy will increase to an alarming rate. Again, this is one area. We are talking only about crime. So it becomes very narrow. The number of children reproduced will be unaccounted for. Will be unaccounted for. You cannot account for all these children. Again, a very narrow area. So the best answer is option 2. Now, I will take, for example, the seventh question. The seventh question. And again, it is the ending. But let's look at what is important in this question. And in one way, population again connects with what we were talking about the family. A spiraling global population. That means it is increasing, coupled, joined with a soaring economic growth from countries such as China and India means that we as a planet are on a course to increase our energy consumption at least 50% by the year 2030. So we are here in the year 2024, only 6 years more. So everything is increasing and the energy consumption is also increasing. At the moment, the lion's share, this is idiomatic English. The lion's share refers to the majority. At the moment, the lion's share, about 80% of our energy is coming from fossil fuels. So any kind of fuel that has to be excavated from the earth, that is called fossil fuel. But if we want to meet this demand sustainably, we want to, see how we can sustain ourselves, fossil fuels will have to take a back step. Again, this is idiomatic English. So that's the reason why I took this passage. Okay. Will a lion's share is one idiom. Take a back step is the next one. What are they asking for? If you want to cut down, fossil fuel is not your answer. You have to find some other solution. So to find another solution, we have to look at the options. Over-dependence on fossil fuel will lead to problems. That is only reconfirming what we read. We will need to ration, to limit our use of resources to meet our energy demands. How can you just cut down something which is important and say, no, I will cut down here because some other sector wants it. So this is not giving you a solution. India and China need to cut down use of naturally available resources. This, if you say cut down natural resources, it totally goes against the concept because you really are looking for natural resources so it will not get depleted. So 1 is out, 2 is out, 3 is out. This is where renewables and the technology to support them comes in. Now, this is the line that says we have renewables and the technology is needed to use those renewables. Overusage of fossil fuels will lead to depletion. That is a foregone conclusion. You're not adding anything new. Neither are you giving a solution. So therefore, only option 4 will fit. Okay, only option 4 will fit. I am looking for, yeah, we'll go to 9 because 9 looks for an opening sentence and we just have 5 minutes more, so we'll go to 9. The question below contains a paragraph with a missing sentence or part of a sentence. choose the option that completes the paragraph. So even if it's the first blank, the paragraph is still incomplete if you don't have anything there. Dash, full stop. Then the second sentence opens. In the youthful stage. So substitute youthful for first stage, early stage. The river is very active and forms deep gorges. So when there's a lot of water and there's a force, and the force of the river, it can cut through rock, sand, anything. It forms a gorge and waterfalls. That's when the river is in the initial stage or the beginning stage. During the mature stage, it forms oxbow lakes. So some of you might remember the geography and the formation of rivers. So the oxbow, it takes a kind of loop. It forms oxbow lakes and meanders. Now the force of the water is not so strong, so it finds a gentle path. In the old stage, the river is now very old. The river forms extensive flood plains. It spreads all over the plains and deltas. We're just talking about the formation of the rivers. If we look at the 5 options, and I'll run through the 5 options, based on their age, rivers can be classified into 3 different stages. That's why we said youthful, then the mature stage, and then the old stage. Rivers are never the same. Yes, Kalyan, you are absolutely correct. It is one. Because how do you classify them? You classify them on their age. And though we don't have a number, we have a word. So the description tells you whether the river is new or old or it is of maturity. So yes, that is the correct one. On this note, I think we will end the class and we will meet for the next session. Good evening and thank you very much. The class is now over. Thank you. Have a good weekend.